receipts on Tonight Live. Being claimed as dependents by Jen tonight. He's like a father to me, Mr. Sport Bruce McAvaney. By satellite, big sister, American comedian Rita Rudner. The black sheep of the family, the know-alls know-it-all, Steve Bedwell. Sweet soul sister, Jan Hellriegel, tells us the way to feel. And we gatecrash the accountant's New Year's Eve party. But now, welcome your guest host, the leader of the tax pack, Jennifer Kite.
I'm glad I made it, and that's about as close as I want to get in life in the fast lane, but that was lots of fun. And we have a great show tonight with the grand poobah of useless information and long-dead cults and fads. Ex-Mouseketeer Steve Bedwell's dropping in. It's June 30th, New Year's Eve for accountants, and we'll be crossing to their party later in the show. Plus, Jan Hellriegel will be singing for us, and we've also got one of the funniest women in the world, Rita Rudner, is joining us. Still trying to catch my breath, I'm afraid. But now a man who represented Australia at 3 Olympics wearing a pair of Julius Marlowe's. He's the host of the highest rating sports show on Australian television. Please welcome sports commentator Bruce McAvaney. Now, as a sports expert extraordinaire, what do you think of go-karting?
I thought 9 out of 10 for your driving.
Oh, really?
So, if I was in the sports world set right now, I'd say Jennifer was just marvellous. What a wonderful performance.
I thought the word was sensational.
Yeah, I use that every now and then. I have to use it 3 times tonight. Sensational.
Okay,
so
I will be counting. We will be counting. Now,
abseiling last night.
Abseiling last night.
Go-karting tonight.
Go-karting tonight. I know, I'm worried. What about tomorrow night? It's my last show tomorrow night, and I think they're already working on something as we speak.
I'm sure they are.
But it's all good fun, and I mean, you get the opportunity to do that, hosting a show like this, so it's great fun. Now, Bruce, I've wanted to ask you, because we've worked together over many years now, and I think you really are one of the best in the business.
Thank you.
People say you're like a walking encyclopedia of sports facts and figures. And I just wonder, how do you actually remember all the information?
Sounds boring, doesn't it? An encyclopedia of sports facts and figures. I think because I have an interest. I often don't remember the most simple things in life, and I'm terrible normally with names. I know you're not Steve, by the way.
Good.
But I just have an interest in things, and it clicks. I remember football scores from years ago that are meaningless now. I can remember the jockeys, the colours of jockeys. So it's just something I've grown up with.
How old were you when you decided to become a sports commentator,
we're going back a bit now
broadcaster, journalist?
Because I've had a birthday recently and I'm getting very old. I was 5. I wanted to call the Melbourne Cup when I was 5 years of age. It was the one thing I wanted to do. So I guess all my life in a way I've worked towards that in a funny roundabout sort of way. So I knew what I wanted to do when I was 5.
When you were 5, I mean, when I was 5, I was, you know, looking forward to monkey bars and swings and riding the push bike.
Yeah, I liked all those things too.
And you were thinking about calling the Melbourne Cup.
When I was 5, I was betting, I was playing football, I was playing
You were
cricket.
betting.
I was a local bookmaker and I was calling races to myself. Strange kid.
How did your parents take all this at 5?
I think they were a bit worried about me. What I used to do, Jennifer, on Friday nights I'd go home from school, you know, when I started, and I'd have the best bets. And I'd put it on my brother's bed and I'd pull out a horse's whip and I'd belt my bed with a whip.
Oh, Bruce, please. I don't think we need to know all the details.
And I'd call races, and I'm sure Mum and Dad thought, gee, what have we got here?
An early developer by the sounds of it.
But, yeah, so I was doing that when I was about 6, 7, 8, and just kept doing it. Used to broadcast the horse races before dinner, and then put the horsewhip away and bring out the trotting whip after dinner and do the trots at night. I think it gave Mum and Dad the trots in the end, actually, but...
Did they support you? Did they encourage this passion for sport?
They were great. I can remember, I started playing footy when I was 8. Dad was a league goal umpire in South Australia and he gave it up to go and watch me. And I was playing in under-15s and he'd yell out from the sidelines and encourage me. And Mum used to give me threepence, so we are going back, for every run I made in cricket when I first started. So, yeah, they were great. Mum for cricket and Dad for footy.
That's encouragement. Now, look, I do have to ask you this. A lot of people ask me, what or who is your favourite athlete of all time?
Oh, there's so many, but I think the person who's had the greatest influence on sport since I've been alive is Muhammad Ali. Cassius Clay, he won a gold medal at the Olympics, became world heavyweight champion, was barred from boxing for 3 years, transcended sport with his political views, and I think it was a great inspiration to blacks and to sports people and to people right around the world. I've got to say Ali. I think he's been the biggest and the best,
sensation,
the superstar. The superstar of the 20th century in sport.
What about the favourite Olympian then?
It's easy. I've seen Carl Lewis win 8 gold medals.
Yes.
I've been lucky enough to, I think, see the greatest Olympic athlete in history, and been lucky enough to broadcast, definitely Lewis, by a long way.
Well, I think just on that note, I think we have some of Carl Lewis at the World Championship, so let's take a look.
Set. Away, Burrell got a great start. Lewis last out. Away very fast, Mitchell. I don't think Carl can win. Stewart in front. Lewis flying. Lewis is flying. He'll get up. He's broken the world record. It's the greatest sprinting performance you'll ever see.
You can make mistakes, can't you? I said I don't think Carl could win, and suddenly he came through and broke the world record. I spent a bit of time with him in Texas this year. So,
did you really?
2 or 3 days. It was fascinating. He's a wonderful, I've said wonderful again, sensational guy. Absolutely sensational. They're the 3, Jen.
You can say it as many times as you like, I don't mind.
In fact, yeah, he's just had such a long career, and he's been by far and away the greatest sprinter. And I think sprinting at the Olympics is a bit like the heavyweight champion. It's a very significant and symbolic thing. To be the fastest man on earth is something special, and he is.
That's your favourite event, isn't it?
It is, because for me too, it's a great challenge. I've got 9 seconds to get it right, or as in that case, get it half right or half wrong. You don't get a rerun, do you?
No.
I mean, so you've got to get it right, and the pressure's on. So it is my favourite event, and yeah, I've had some good ones, and I've had some not so good ones.
Now, what do you like to call the racing, the football, the tennis? I mean, what do you like to commentate on best?
I think the things that you actually broadcast in, like football and horse racing and athletics, I enjoy tennis and golf immensely, and all the other things we're involved in. But it's when you're actually broadcasting, because it's a bit like a singer. You're performing. You're doing it in a different voice.
Yes.
So I think it's football, athletics, maybe particularly, and horse racing.
Well, you seem to be able to call anything. We have a challenge for you tonight. We have some footage of, well, it's a 1993 Doorbuster Sales Stakes, and it's running over 6 levels of shopping. So would you like to call this for us?
I'll give it a go, John. I'm a bit worried about this. It looks like Channel 7 on Monday morning, people wanting to come in. Oh, no, I know where we are. Look at some familiar... Is that Steve Weiser? They're almost set to go. I recognise they're the clerks of the course walking in, almost set. There's the starter on his platform. They're ready, they're racing. Oh, I caught them in a beautiful line. The man in black was the first through. Oh, gee, there's a lot there. Look at the security guard. He nearly fell at the first. Here's a fall. He's gone down. There's a crash in the Grand National. There are 150 starters. It's hard to pick them left, right and centre. I can't see Carl, and there's the gold medal at the end. Oh,
Oh, gosh, you can even get excited about it. Stop taking
It wasn't a
down.
bad race, was it?
OK, thanks, Bruce. Well, it's time now for the latest headlines with Naomi Robson. That was great, Bruce. Fantastic. Really good.
Well, I'll tell you what's coming up in our news later on in the show. The Commonwealth Bank strike continues, but some staff are defying a union directive to stay at home, so that means some of them are going to be open if you're lucky, if it's in your area. 3 men appear in a Sydney court charged over Australia's biggest drug bust. Police in New York arrest a man who confessed to killing 17 women. A Sydney hospital prepares for a population explosion, and the feeding frenzy off the West Australian coast continues. And that's that great vision of the whales and the sharks feeding on the small fish.
That's still continuing, because that's been going for quite some time now.
Yeah.
It's amazing footage.
Yeah, it's really good.
And it's not only the sharks now, they have the whales there.
And not going to ask me to call that one, eh?
Sure. Well, you can if you like. Well, Naomi and Bruce, I don't know if you saw this last night, but on 7 Nightly News last night, we had this vision. Take a look at this. Now, it's Tom Cruise signing his name in cement outside Mann's Chinese Theatre in Hollywood. Now, you see him signing his name there. What we didn't see was what else he wrote. We'll have a closer look. And we'll be back with more right after this. And welcome back to Tonight Live. We're with Bruce McAvaney. And Bruce, as a sports commentator, I know as a news presenter we get tongue-tied from time to time. We do have a few bloopers in our closet. What's your most embarrassing moment?
Oh, there's been a few, Jennifer, but one I won't forget. I was calling the races one day at Victoria Park in Adelaide, and there's a horse called Play the Part. And I had Play the Fart flashing home. Are you allowed to say that on this?
I think you can.
And it was there, and I did it, and I knew as soon as I said it, I was in trouble. But I guess if that's the worst thing I've done, it's not too bad.
Not too
but I've
bad
got a lot wrong, and you're always embarrassed with that. What about you?
Oh, well, I mean, I feel sorry for the sports commentators, because I can remember Drew Morfitt one night having a terrible time with Slobodan Zivijinovic, and he tried 3 times and just could not get it together. Eventually, he looked straight down the barrel of the camera and he said, "You know who I mean," and just kept reading, and I thought it's a nice way to get out of it.
Bobo's his short. That's what we call him, Bobo.
Bobo.
Zivijinovic, yeah, much easier.
That's
I have trouble with
better.
Ivanisevic. I have real trouble with him.
Okay. Well, it's time now to meet our next guest, who in 1974 was the Roselands Shopping Centre undisputed dingbat champion for 3 school holidays in a row. And when asked to comment on him, Nature replied, "Wrong and different." Please welcome my friend, urban spaceman, Steve Bedwell. Steve, you're looking particularly lively tonight.
Well, I'm feeling fairly chipper, I must admit, Jen. I've been into the Jolt.
The Jolt. What's
The
Jolt?
Jolt is double-strength caffeine cola from America.
Double-strength caffeine cola.
Yeah, it's actually banned in 11 states over there because it does bad things to your renal system.
Oh, like what?
Well, basically, Jen, it's twice the caffeine, twice the sugar, half the sleep. It's doing a roaring trade at the moment with school students and interstate truck drivers.
Well, this is probably what you've been giving me in the dressing room after the show each night. No wonder I haven't been sleeping.
Well, yeah, exactly. I have been feeding it to you by accident, Jen. Actually, I had 4 cans of it last night. You're not going to believe this, Bruce.
Have you been to bed since?
Well, I tried to get to sleep and couldn't, but I did run to Canberra for a hamburger, so it's going pretty well. Actually,
the only reason you go to Canberra, wouldn't it?
Now, Bruce.
I keep this
I didn't say that, Bruce. Why don't we hook into one of these? There you go, Bruce.
Now, is this legal? I mean, if it's double-strength caffeine cola, it does sound a little unusual.
Well, the health department are... Yeah, sure you are, Bruce.
Thank you.
Whether you like it or not. Now, go
Thank
easy,
you.
because I don't want any Alex Watsons happening here, OK? The health department are looking into it at the moment. This is for you, Jen, by the way.
This is in Australia, so is it
So, Steve, I'm
widely
not breaking the
available?
law.
Well,
Sorry, Jen.
you can actually get Jolt at the moment from my very good friends at Di Maru and David Jones.
Oh, I see, a bit of a plug.
But yeah, it's apparently is a little bit dangerous, but you know, what you don't know won't hurt you.
What do you mean a little bit dangerous?
Well, I'll give you the tip, Jen. You can forget your brand of vino. If you're looking for a good night out, drop a couple of becks into a can of this and scull it, and you're away with the Dolphins for a fortnight. Jennifer, I'll pour for you.
You don't want me to get any sleep again tonight?
Well, not particularly. I'm not going to touch it, Jen.
Thank you very much. Well, yes, you
cheers.
better have one as well.
Cheers.
Well, I'll drink it out of the
Cheers.
can because I'm far less sophisticated than you two. But yeah, Jolt, they're actually bringing out one in America that's triple strength. It's called Jolt Ultra. They're bringing out. And in fact, Jolt has used some fairly interesting advertising to try and flog it. I think we've got a picture of, there it is. Your wake-up call, Jolt. The switch is on, twice the caffeine, all the taste.
Oh, I like that one.
And this one, dare to want it all, Jolt. I mean, there's your typical school student.
Bruce, are you ready for your hair to end up like
I was going to
that?
say, if I didn't have gel in my hair tonight, I'd look just like that.
But Jolt wasn't the first name. Given its caffeine, they're actually going to call it kidney failure. But market research...
Oh.
Jennifer, would you like to hold this?
Market research deemed that it wasn't quite up to scratch. So they changed it to Jolt.
Now, is it just like a strong cup of coffee? I mean, how much caffeine are we talking about?
Well, Jen, I think we should book the ambulance now for you. You've had a mouthful. It's kind of like that. It's pretty strong. It's double
great.
caffeine.
Well, thanks for bringing that in, Steve. And what else
pleasure.
have you brought for us tonight?
Well, Jen, the ant farm.
The ant farm.
I'm sure you had an ant farm when you were young.
But mine wasn't as flash as that
Oh,
one.
no, that's
Would you
the
like me
Uncle
to pass
Milton's
that over?
giant ant farm. Can we get a shot of that? We've got the box here. The ant farm, I guess for those of us who were born after 1945, we had to learn about incarceration and torture by things like ant farms. We bought an ant farm. You can see there, that's actually my ant farm, and there's no ants there, Jen.
Yes, I was saying, where are they? What have you done to them?
They had some Jolt.
Well, they're not actually dead, Jen, surprisingly enough. They've been taken off the farm. Westpac foreclosed on the payments. I was...
Oh, there they are. There's a few sad ones down the bottom.
That was actually...
And can I just say something? They couldn't have had Jolt because they're all asleep.
Well, they're asleep for a very long time, Bruce. That was actually the queen bee who got caught in the combine harvester. It was very nasty.
Oh, no.
And of course, before he left, the king ant was feeling very frail and actually could only lift 30 times his own body weight.
Oh.
Which is a terrible thing for an ant.
Well, thanks for bringing that in, Steve. You must have a very interesting life.
I do.
Now, I just had to ask you, are all these things tax deductible?
Well, of course they are, Jen.
They are.
I wouldn't be bringing them on otherwise.
I thought that would be right. And speaking of tax, I mean, can you imagine anything wilder than a party with a room full of accountants with pens in their pockets and lampshades on their heads?
Oh, hell no.
No, me either. So let's cross now to Andrew Goodwin at the accountants' New Year's Eve party. Andrew, there you are.
Hi.
How's the party going?
Oh, it's going really well, Jen. These are wacky accountants, let me tell you.
Wacky accountants, is it a big party? It looks rather small.
Well, it's small because we're after fun-loving accountants, and there's not too many of them left in the world. But as you can see, they're quite wacky. They've made their party hats out of tax forms.
Well, Andrew, where's your hat? Aren't you joining in?
Oh, is there a spare hat? Yep, there you go. I've got Christopher Skase's tax return here. Me back!
Now, have you discovered any great tax deductions this year, Andrew?
Well, I've got a little bit of an entertainment question here, and Edward has elected to answer. Edward, I see a party. I see balloons. I see streamers. Can you make any tax deductions from entertainment such as this?
Sure, Andrew, the ATO is paying for all this.
Oh, really? Can you really deduct a night like this?
Well, not really. It's really got to be tied into some eligible training or something like that, but generally, no, it's no longer deductible.
Oh, right. So something like in-house training?
Yes, could possibly be.
Good, I must keep that in mind. Now, I've got a second question, and it is, in fact, going to Mark over there. And Mark, can you just tell us about the new rulings on working clothes?
Working clothes, you can claim them only if they're precondition of employment.
Oh, right, so
if the employer has to say, you got to wear this and this, and then you can claim it. Otherwise, forget it.
Okay, and I've got one last question here, Jen, and it goes to Sean, of course. Sean, tell us about receipts.
Receipts?
best thing for each, get them all and just throw them into a big shoebox and send them down to us and we'll look after them for you. As you can see up here.
Yes, concepts and results. That's the firm that we're dealing with here tonight, gents. But even like something for a pencil, like keep your receipt for it.
Just get a receipt for it and we'll look after it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go, Jen. Accountancy is live and well. Back to you.
Fantastic. Who said accountants couldn't have fun? Looks like a hoot of a party down there, Andrew. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Tonight Live. We're with Bruce McAvaney and Steve Bedwell. Now, Bruce, we have a challenge for you. I hate to do this to you, but...
You'd love to do this to you.
I mean, you are the master sports broadcaster, and they tell me that you can answer just about anything.
We're about to find out, I think.
I know. Now, we thought we'd give you the 60-second challenge. Throw a few questions at you and see how you go. Are you up to it?
Go for it.
Go for it?
Go.
Okay, Merv, will you give me the nod?
And from now.
Number 1, how many British Open titles has Nick Faldo won?
3.
Yes. Which 3 VFL teams did Renee King play for?
Collingwood, St Kilda, Essendon.
Yes. How many losing VFL Grand Final teams did Renee King play for?
5.
6.
Bruce, where did Renee King do his hairdressing apprenticeship?
Not the same place you did.
Did I get that right?
Okay, moving right along. Number 5, Monica Seles was tragically stabbed in the back earlier this year during a match in which country?
Germany.
Yes. What is Merv Hughes' highest score in Test cricket?
72.
Not out. Well,
oh, not out. No, not out. 72, not out.
Yes.
Name the hairdresser who created Merv Hughes' moustache for him.
The same one that did yours tonight.
Jenny Weber of Werribee.
Name the trainer of former world heavyweight great Muhammad Ali.
Angelo Dundee.
Yes.
What is Mike Tyson's birthday?
Don't know. Pass.
Today, dummy. When is he due for parole?
In about 3 years. No, 2 years.
That's 1995.
Time's out.
That's it. Well done.
Did I pass the test?
I thought that was excellent. Very good.
That was good, Bruce, but
Yes,
Sandy
we're
Roberts
impressed.
got them all right.
Oh, and Drew Morfitt wrote them out.
Now, Steve, you're a pretty funny man, but here's a woman who makes the everyday funny. She wrote and starred in the film Peter's Friends, which is released tomorrow nationally. She's a regular visitor to our shores. You know her, but before we meet her in our Los Angeles studios, let's have a look at a clip from Peter's Friends.
Look at this armoire. Is this real?
No, it's imaginary.
Whose are these?
I'm afraid there's been a bit of a misunderstanding. There's a Mysos. Actually, this is my room.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
No. That's quite all right. Yours is right next door.
Is it as nice as this one?
Well,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If this were my house, I'd want the best room, too. Andrew? Bags?
she's fine when she's asleep.
I heard that.
Thank you, darling.
Would you please welcome Rita Rudner? Well, congratulations, Rita, on the movie Peter's Friends. I managed to get a sneak preview of the film over the weekend and absolutely loved it, I must say. But for the
Very
audience who hasn't seen it, can you just describe briefly what the movie's about?
There's lots of murders and lots of dinosaurs. Oh, no, that's something else. It's a little comedy about lots of friends getting together in a great big mansion in the country for a weekend, and lots of things going on underneath the surface that you find out as the weekend progresses.
It's been described by some as a British version of The Big Chill. I guess considering the weather over there, that's quite appropriate.
That's true. Yeah, well, it is in a way because it's lots of friends getting together, and whenever you do a film about lots of friends getting together, people are, The Big Chill, The Big Chill. Actually, there have been lots of films like that, but The Big Chill is the one that comes to mind. And it's totally different, but it does follow a weekend with lots of people in one big house. For, you know, they're different people and different situations and different jokes and different characters and everything, but I love The Big Chill, and I'm happy that people are comparing it to a movie that I like.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that one. Now, you must be particularly proud of this work because you not only star in it, but you also co-wrote it with your husband.
Yes, I co-wrote it, and my husband Martin Bergman co-produced it, and I made the popcorn for the theaters and distributed them in Los Angeles. No, not really. It was the first movie Martin and I wrote together that got actually put on screen, and it was quite a thrill, I have to say. I'm a pretty cynical person, and I don't get thrilled very often, but the first time we had it shown in Los Angeles, and when I saw written by Rita Rudner and Martin Bergman, I was happy my name came first. No, not really again. But it was really quite a thrill just to see that we'd finally accomplished that.
Now, did you draw from personal experience for this movie?
You always have to draw from something personal, but you know, you can't write, I could never write my own life or anything, it's very boring. So I play a character that I really wanted to play someone totally different from myself, and I've known people like this, and I've exaggerated lots of things about myself. But I play an ex-alcoholic, ex-bulimic woman who's been married 4 or 5 times, who's constantly obsessed with getting older. So there are some things in there that are true and some things that aren't, and you'll just have to guess which ones.
Well, it does tend to send up the whole LA scene. Now, you live there. Does this mirror the lifestyle?
It isn't everyone here, but there's a small group of people who I felt needed sending up. Like when, because I live in Beverly Hills, and whenever I go out, even just to do the little shopping, I'll see Zsa Zsa Gabor, you know, all dressed up in her Rolls Royce and her dog and her prince husband carrying all the shopping bags from all the stores in Beverly Hills, and they're funny people, and they're always going to Alcoholics Anonymous and Betty Ford rehab clinics. In fact, in the movie, I met my husband at the Betty Ford rehab clinic. That's where our romance began.
I hear a lot of stories like that. It seems to be quite an eligible area to go to meet these sort of people.
That's where you go if you want to meet someone. Elizabeth Taylor didn't do so well, but I hear she's very happy.
But you like collaborating with your husband? I mean, is it easier to work with him like this than, say, doing the shopping together?
I think it's always easier to work with your husband than it would be to work with a different man. I mean, I don't think I'd like him going to work every day with another woman. And also, we are very lazy people, and we don't really like to get dressed. So we wake up in the morning, and I put on my sweatsuit, and he puts on his bathrobe, and we go down to the office and start writing. And that's what we like to do. When I'm not getting on a plane going someplace, my idea of an ideal day is to just go downstairs to the office and write a movie.
And this was
you don't write the whole movie in one day, just a little bit of the movie.
This is your first film role.
Right.
Was it a big change from doing the stand-up comedy routine? Like when you delivered a line on the movie set, were you waiting for people to give you a round of applause?
You know what, it's totally different, and I was a little bit shell-shocked, but I was around lots of friends because the people we worked with in Peter's Friends, Ken Branagh and Emma Thompson and Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie and a lot of the other cast, I'd known them before we did this movie. So I was a little bit comfortable around them, and I just kind of watched what Ken and Emma did and tried to do what they did. But it's the opposite of stand-up. When you do stand-up, you say the joke directly into the camera, you wait for the laugh, you time it, you go on. And in movies, you're just working in darkness, and you have to avoid the camera all the time and never say anything to get a laugh, and it happens to be funny, it's funny. So it was totally different. It was quite a challenge.
So the crew didn't heckle you to make you feel at home?
No, no. Everyone was very nice to me.
Now with Kenneth Branagh, I mean, what an amazing talent that man is. He's produced, directed and starred in the film. What was he like to work with?
He's got so much energy. He's unbelievable. He's blessed with loads of energy and loads of confidence and loads of talent. And he was up at 4 a.m. every morning, and he was up all night figuring out his shots, and he's always enthusiastic, and he has so much enthusiasm it really carries over onto the set. And he's got quite a personality.
And did you enjoy being romantically linked with him?
I thought it was quite an honor to work with Ken Branagh. You know, it was